Hi, my name is Jason Powell. I'm Associate Professor of Honors Humanities in the Honors College at Ball State University. I'm in my 11th year here, but this semester I'm the Faculty Fellow for the Virginia Ball Center for Creative Inquiry, and we are here to start a nonprofit that addresses comprehensively the problems of generational poverty. And I'm here with 16 students who are starting Beneficence Family Scholars. I'm also on the board of directors, and I'm also the vice president of the organization.
Hi, my name's Lydia Katowski, and I'm a political science and health policy double major in the Ball State University Honors College. Through BFS, I am serving as the President and Chief Possibility Officer, meaning I manage all of the legal affairs for the organization and help with community engagement. During the spring 2019 semester, myself and 15 other students in the Honors College have been working under the guidance of Dr. Jason Powell to start Beneficence Family Scholars.
I'm Rebecca Conrad. I'm a junior economics major, and I've been working on the business and fundraising team this semester.
My name is Abby French. I'm a Spanish major, and my main focus this semester has been the creation of humanities programming for our scholars.
My name is Phil Engel. I'm majoring in classics and anthropology, and my role at the BFS has been research, outreach, and programming.
Hi, my name is Liz Reith. I'm a sophomore at Ball State studying journalism and telecommunications. Here at Beneficence Family Scholars, I've been focusing on creating written marketing material for social media and the newsletter.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Preby. I am a history major, and my focus here at the Beneficence Family Scholars has been creating programs based in the humanities for our scholars.
My name is Zach Johnson, and I'm a business analytics and Spanish double major, and I'm also in the Honors College. This semester, I have primarily been building the website and kind of maintaining that, and also working with the Excel Center of Muncie as well.
I'm Eliza Rourke. I'm a visual communications major, and I'm the graphic designer here.
Hi, my name is Dorian Sheets. I am a double major in sociocultural anthropology and public history, and I've been mainly focusing on humanities program creation and innovation, and also community engagement.
My name is Tristan Claypool. I'm a junior finance and economics major, and I'm on the business team here at Beneficence Family Scholars.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Schlichting, and I'm a marketing major. My role here is doing marketing for BFS and also creating a strategic marketing plan.
My name is Allie Kimmel. I am a psychological science major, and this semester I've been primarily focusing on fundraising for Beneficence Family Scholars.
My name is May Baczynski, and my major is Organizational Communication Studies. And this semester, I've been focusing on the marketing for the nonprofit as well as the launch party.
My name is Bobby Burton. I'm a sophomore psychological science major with a minor in marketing, and my focus this semester has been on the marketing team primarily as it pertains to the website and social media.
So my involvement with Family Scholar House really started because my mom and Kathy Dykstra had a chance meeting at Kosar Children's Hospital. My mom is a pediatric intensivist there, and every so often they do what are called grand rounds, and one of those times Kathy came to be the guest speaker. At that meeting, my mom had the chance to interact with Kathy and one of the graduates of the Family Scholar House program, and as soon as all of those interactions were done, I got a text from my mom saying, "I just found out about the most wonderful organization I've ever encountered. You need to go look it up and get involved however you can." That led to an email introduction of myself to Kathy, and then when I finished the semester, the spring 2018 semester, I went back to Louisville, met with Kathy for the first time, and from there I just got plugged into Family Scholar House wherever I could. I helped with making videos for their online academy. I helped with a career camp, wrote a couple blog posts, and just assorted other things, helping wherever they needed an extra set of hands. It was through all of that, though, that I really got to know how important the nonprofit sector as a whole is and how important comprehensive nonprofits are. And that realization, coupled with the conversations that I had been having in Muncie and the topics I've been learning about in my own life, as well as through the humanities sequence in the Honors College, really led me to believe that this comprehensive nature of investing in a whole person is really important to helping overcome the systemic issues that face our society today, one of those being generational poverty. And of course, Family Scholar House and now Beneficence Family Scholars really seeks to help single-parent families overcome generational poverty. And really all of that for me got its start in the humanities sequence and then my time at FSH.
In July, I got an email from Jen Blackmer, the director of the VBC, saying that one of the fellows had dropped out. They had a problem or a conflict with the department, so they had to drop out. She knew, because I knew Jen, she knew I was working with some ideas. And she said, would you be willing to jump in and do a VBC? And now normally you have to apply, you get accepted in like January, so I would have had a lot of time to think about it. But so this was a little bit of a rushed, sort of like we'd have to step on it. And so I right away went upstairs and talked to my boss, Dr. Emmert, and he said, let's do it. So for spring semester of 2019, but I still didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something with generational poverty, whether it was teaching a course for people in Muncie, whether it was somehow interacting, but I wasn't real sure. And it was less than a week later that I got an email from Lydia Katowski saying, hey, I have an idea, I just want to present it to you. And I said, sure, coming up. So she was actually in Louisville, so a couple of days later, I remember it was a Friday, she came up. And so she sat down and told me for about an hour all about Family Scholar House in Louisville, everything they were doing. And I was like, I think my initial impression was like a lot of people's like, this seems too good to be true. Something that's hitting every aspect of generational poverty, a nonprofit that allows those trapped in the cycle of generational poverty, that single parents to have the opportunity to get a 4-year degree. And so after she presented it, she said, I want to do something like this in Muncie.
And by the end of that conversation, it was, we're not going to just start a program through Ball State, we're going to just start a whole nonprofit here.
3 days later, I had a 16-page proposal with deadlines, dates, people we should contact, the first wave, second wave, third wave, the whole shebang. And so I thought, this is probably going to go. And so it wasn't long after that when I talked to Lydia again. I said, what if we turn the VBC, the Virginia Ball Center, I told her about this opportunity. I said, what if we turn that into our opportunity to start this nonprofit? And so that began the process of what do I need to start a nonprofit? So I looked at business majors, marketing, TCOM, journalism, humanities, because I knew that I wanted to do something that was humanities focused. That I really do believe that the ideas that we encounter in our honors classes that cover the humanities, literature, art, philosophy, music, history, poetry, all these things have changed my life so much I thought they have to make an impact out in the world somehow. And so I had humanities majors and social science majors, and I tried a broad spectrum of majors from really talented people. And I had to say no to, we had enough basically to fill 4 VBCs, and I had to say no to a lot of people.
We got 44 applicants from just the Honors College, which is more applicants than most projects get. We were actually able to add an extra seat to allow 16 students in the class instead of 15. Just throughout the last few months of the fall 2018 semester, Jason and I worked on coming up with a syllabus for the first couple of weeks. Jason and a couple other faculty selected the other students who would be in the VBC. And then we met once with our group before the fall semester ended so that we could jump right in when we got to January 2019.
So why Muncie? Of all the places we could have started this project, why did we choose Muncie? As students who came to Ball State for the university, most of us discounted the community inside which Ball State rests. As we began this project, however, we started to see Muncie as a slowly blossoming city that just needs some love and support in facing its challenges. Now, we don't see ourselves as Ball State students separated from the Muncie community. Instead, we are part of the Muncie community. At Beneficence Family Scholars, we know that understanding our community's history is essential to facing our problems and allowing us to eventually end the cycle of generational poverty.
For most of the 20th century, families in Muncie's working class could count on factories and manufacturing jobs to supply reliable income and support for families. But by the 1970s, outsourcing factory jobs became more and more popular, leaving cities like Muncie with no factory or manufacturing jobs to be had. In lieu of these factory jobs came the retail and service industries, which have dominated the job market since the 1980s. The problem with jobs of this type, though, is that they don't pay anywhere near a living wage and offer no benefits to their employees, leaving many Muncie residents living under the poverty line and with little to no access to things like health care, insurance, and more.
The cycle of poverty has serious ramifications in many parts of society and in the lives of individuals. It impacts social poverty levels, local culture, housing, education, and even the ability of children and parents to achieve their passions, hopes, and dreams. In Muncie, 12.6% of families are living below the poverty line. This number jumps to 31.2% for children under 18. Even more shocking, 38.2% of single mothers in Muncie are living at or below the poverty line.
Most of the issues facing those in poverty start early in one's life. Today, 75% of Muncie Community School students are on free or reduced lunches. In 2012, 50% of households with children in Delaware County were food insecure, and 41% of these obtained primarily low-quality food. When children are eating only low-quality food from early in their life, their future development is impacted in a major way. It impacts students' abilities and motivation in completing academic work, and in the future, the ability to work long hours at minimum wage jobs, severely limiting future opportunities.
Low-income homeowners in Muncie are suffering due to the cycle of poverty. Many low-income earners spend on average 70% or more of their total income on housing, compared to just 30% for those who are living above the poverty line. This huge disparity is due to the fact that individuals living in poverty often occupy older homes that need maintenance, suffer from mold and poor insulation, roof leaks, and more, but cannot get loans for that maintenance due to their low income.
Poverty also presents massive problems for inaccessibility to healthy lifestyles. In 2014, there were over 20,000 food insecure people in Delaware County. 1/3 of food insecure people are employed, meaning that they earn too much for government assistance. This leaves many families to fend for themselves in a world where healthy and nutritious food options are often too expensive and out of reach. In fact, over 1/3 of Muncie residents live in food deserts, meaning that they are more than 1 square mile away from a grocery store that offers healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, and other fresh food products. So many are left to eat canned and processed food items, contributing to unhealthy lifestyles and, again, limiting future opportunities.
Beneficence Family Scholars is a nonprofit organization that seeks to work with the Delaware County community to help single-parent families escape the cycle of poverty. We recognize that poverty comes in many forms and that there are many factors which keep families stuck in this vicious cycle. The challenges of providing food, shelter, and health care for a child tend to take immediate precedence in a single parent's mind, which leaves less room for personal enrichment. This perpetuates a cycle of poverty by leaving them no time for higher education or training, which could lead to a higher paying job. Living paycheck to paycheck and caring for another human being limits these families to minimum wage jobs that don't allow for advancement.
Beneficence Family Scholars strives to improve these statistics by helping the parent in a single-parent family obtain some form of higher education while providing comprehensive support for the whole family. What makes our organization unique is the holistic nature of our support. Rather than focusing solely on education or housing or health or food, we provide services that address all of these areas and many more. We hope to build a community of family for our scholars that enables them to achieve self-sufficiency. Acting as a comprehensive support system, Beneficence Family Scholars encourages scholars to live with confidence, security, and the time and power to focus on what truly matters to them, their family. we hope to take the stress of everyday survival out of the equation and allow our families to thrive in an environment nourished by love, education, and support that they can pass down to their own children.
I'm a junior at Ball State, and my whole entire 3 years here so far, I've lived on campus and haven't really veered off campus much. So again, with this project, it was a way to get involved with the Muncie community, because I was really involved with my community at home. In a way, Muncie does remind me of back home. So being able to tour Muncie a little bit and get to know some of the community leaders and a little bit more about what's going on in Muncie instead of just on the Ball State campus has been really eye-opening, and has shown me all of the great things that are going on in Muncie, but all of the things that also need some help. And that's why this nonprofit's really important. We just want to be that resources to show the people who need help all of the great things that are going on and that can help them.
I've done a lot of volunteering in the Muncie community, so when I first heard about this project, when Jason brought it up in class, I was very excited. I was like, this is exactly what some of these people really need and deserve, to be honest. Because I just remember seeing kids and great achievers who, perhaps didn't have enough food to go home to, or enough clothing during the winter, or just all these little things that aren't really their fault. It's just the life that they've grown up in. And so I think providing other opportunities for people like that will be really helpful for this community.
So we started this semester and we learned a lot about the situation in Muncie and how there is extremely high levels of poverty. And while I was at Ball State, I had no idea that it was this bad. So when I started to learn about it, I became really drawn to the community. And even though they're our neighbors, I had no idea that they were struggling. So being in this immersive project and working for Beneficence Family Scholars has made me feel more connected to Muncie, and I just want to help in any way that I can. And it made me feel more tied to our community, feel more tied to Muncie and the people around me. And I love that I get to dive in to something that's going to change someone's life. Even if I only have one semester of full-time work here, that full-time work for that small length of time can go into someone changing their entire life. I don't want people to struggle every single day, and even if I haven't experienced that, I want no one to have to experience it. So every single day when I walk in and I start my plan or I analyze our data, it's more important than just I'm here working for a project. I want to be doing this to actually help someone escape generational poverty.
So our organization is very important to the community that we are currently serving. There are a lot of people in this community that have lost a lot of resources that they once had and that don't know really how to find those resources anymore, which is where our organization steps in. So it can be really difficult to navigate how to get food or how to get childcare for a discount, how to even go to college, apply to college, or file your FAFSA. All of those things can be extremely difficult when you don't have that guidance. So our organization is important because we are the ones who are going to provide that guidance for other people, and we're the ones who are going to connect them to all those resources. But not only connect them, we're going to walk through them and through those processes to make sure that they're not left alone in the dust without anything.
The whole goal of what we're trying to do at BFS, Benefits Family Scholars, acronym BFS, is to fight in a radical way or some innovative ways the cycle of generational poverty. The poverty rate here in Muncie, Indiana is over 20%. The poverty rate for single parents is at 40%. So the need is there. a lot of times when people address poverty, they will address one aspect of it, like food insecurity or housing, and those are all incredible things. What we want to do at BFS is address as many of those as we can, if not all of them. So housing, food security, education, healthcare, financial literacy, and all those aspects, so that by the time our scholars leave our program, it's not just that they have a degree and a job, but they are different human beings. They are human beings that are interacting with the world in different ways, as we all do, and as what education has helped us to learn how to do, is how to be creative in how we interact with the world, especially for people that have not had those advantages or not had the opportunities to do that and have struggled in sort of the detrimental aspects of generational poverty, when some of the big ones have been just that lack of support. And so that's what we're really about. The heart of the whole thing is people. And to see, I think so many people want to do something to change society, or to make changes in society, but they don't know how to do it. And so this is an opportunity to really do something that we're all involved with here at Ball State, and that's education. And we believe in the power of education, not just to change minds, but to change our hearts as well, and have us have a sense of that the more we begin to know, and the more we grow, the greater our perspective gets to be, the larger our worldview becomes, and then we begin to interact with the world creatively and with compassion. And I think that's our goal, and it's also a goal that we want to pass on to our future scholars and their children.
Beneficence Family Scholars kind of stands for everything that we believe in as an organization. So beneficence is the first and primary thing that upholds our organization. Beneficence is goodwill and giving back to others, and we're really hoping that this organization is going to be able to do that, but not only provide it for the community, but empower others in the community to live out a life full of beneficence themselves and to give back to their community and join our cause, but also join causes that they're passionate about as well. The scholar or family aspect of our organization is really key to it as well, because we're hoping to create a community that is close-knit as family. So we want to make sure that not only our scholars, but the whole community is really connected, and that's where we are hoping to coordinate all of those resources all together so that we are the one place where people can go to get any help that they need. And then the scholar aspect of our name is, of course, for education, which is one of our other primary focuses of the organization. So we believe that by helping people get an education, post-secondary education, that they'll be able to support their families and live a fulfilling life.
So Beneficence Family Scholars is a very comprehensive organization. It's based on the Family Scholar House model, but we've adapted it a little bit to fit the structure of Muncie, the structure of Ball State, and Ivy Tech a little bit more completely than just a direct copy and paste would. One of the largest changes between Beneficence Family Scholars and Family Scholar House is our focus on the humanities and using that as a way to springboard a lot of our other structure and programming. We really believe in appealing to the whole person, and that any individual, whether they are the wealthiest person in the world or the poorest, deserves respect, deserves to be loved, and deserves to have the opportunity to pursue an education at whatever level that looks like for them. And so that's really the sort of core belief of our organization, is that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and feel worthy of being dignified. And that's what we are really focusing on.
The goals for this semester with the students in our VBC to create this nonprofit, Beneficence Family Scholars, have been somewhat twofold. On one side, we have the nuts and bolts of creating the nonprofit, so we have all the financial aspects, we have fundraising, we have marketing, and we have also sort of getting our name out there in different ways. So via social networking, making all those connections, finding donors, and we have a really qualified team that's out there doing that. And it includes also our fundraising campaign as far as setting up our our showcase, which is our sort of our launch program to get us started. On the other side of it is the humanities side of it, and we are modeled after Family Scholar House in Louisville, Kentucky, and they all their scholars go through certain aspects of their programming. So they'll do things in financial literacy, they'll do things in parenting classes, and we wanted to also have that for our scholars, but we wanted to add something extra. We wanted to have our scholars immersed in different humanities programs, which they could do as single parents with their children.
Right off the bat with the humanities team, we were like, these are so important, these humanities foundations, but like, what the heck does that mean? Where can we integrate this into the curriculum? How can we bring, the joy we feel when we work with the humanities, whether we're listening to music, reading a poem, drawing a picture, like looking at a painting, but even just trying to establish how we defined the humanities for ourselves was something that we took a lot of time with, and because that would impact how we present it to our scholars in the future. So that was another struggle we had right off the bat, but it was like kind of a good struggle to have because it really had us thinking and evaluating constantly like what we valued most and what we appreciated about the humanities, and so that was really a beautiful experience.
So we focused on finding like art, music, poetry, dance, things that might be a little bit more engaging, and then using a specific topic to explore with those different areas. So like for the civil rights movement, we would find like poetry from African American authors and art and like paintings and sculptures and just all these different things that can help like bring the story to life a little bit.
And so one of the programs that I was most proud of, because it's my baby, two programs actually. One was forms of dance and the other one was world dances. So in high school I used to do dance all the time. I was dancing and choreographing, and there was like so much energy to be had in that. So I was thinking, like how can we bring that to these scholars? And I think I was thinking to myself that maybe if we empower them with these, even basic ideas in dance, like these basic movements and these basic philosophies, like they will be even like just that much more empowered to pursue a new avenue of self-expression or just understanding that maybe they had or didn't have before. So along with the dance and the civil rights, we've also covered like how to look at the Hunger Games as a novel, yes, but also how it you can read into it and see different social manifestations, so like how you can identify capitalism and the influences of capitalism, but also how the government sees the worth of a human life and how we see ourselves in relation to each other, and how a social society can impact the way we see ourselves and things like that. So these really cool ideas and topics that people have probably experienced but didn't even know that they had, and so now maybe they get to express these feelings of, maybe like concern or, just a basic human questioning in a really cool and dynamic discussion environment, through the Hunger Games, and that sounds pretty awesome.
So this semester began back in January, which seems like forever ago. And we started out just trying to scope out the general project. We tried to just figure out who we were as Beneficence Family Scholars and what we exactly were setting out to do with the next 5 months of our life. And so some base things we did was create a logo, create our mission statement, and just really setting the base levels of a nonprofit of what we hope to do and who we hope to serve. And a lot of our ideas for this came from Family Scholar House in Louisville, Kentucky. And so once we had established those, then we were able to go to Louisville, Kentucky and kind of see what model they had and just see what Family Scholar House was like.
So then Louisville, we got so many cool experiences just being around the town and listening to the stories of different families. And I remember an FSH worker said, "Pay attention to those pouring into you." And for me, I looked back and I thought, man, there were so many people pouring into me my whole life. And after listening to these stories, not everyone got that experience. And that was a really eye-opening thing for me when I went to Louisville, is that I had a very strong support system. And I want to be a part of that support system for someone else, just like Family Scholar House was for all of those families living on their campus. And they're one big family, they're a source of accountability. And when I was in Louisville, I said, that's where I want to strive to be, that's where I want Beneficence Family Scholars to be someday, and I hope that we can get there.
Going to Family Scholar House was, I think, so important for us. I don't think we would have been able to accomplish what we accomplished without seeing it in person in February. And it's just such an amazing organization. Like, I was blown away immediately when we got there.
Going to Louisville and seeing their campuses, and that they have like a daycare and childcare center, and they have places to hold programs, and they have so many apartment complexes, and seeing how well they work with the universities around there is just really hopeful that we can do that in Muncie and spread out to the entire Delaware County. And, you know, for communities like Muncie to see what we're doing in the future, just like we did with Louisville, how we were so inspired by them. Hopefully that someday we can inspire other places to be able to do something like this and create programs like we are doing, just to help people and make the world a better place.
When we were in Louisville, I think the coolest thing for me to see was all of the people that had been through their program and who had, benefited from it. When we got to hear the stories of people who had been in that situation and then gotten out of it, I think that up until that point, it seemed like such a big thing to change someone's course, of their life, and something so almost impossible, nearly impossible, but it seemed so doable when we went down to Louisville, like we could actually do it. And I think that was really cool to see it work, and it was very inspiring.
Beneficence Family Scholars aims at connecting single parents with the resources they need to commit to their higher education goals. And I've volunteered a lot with Food Not Bombs and several other organizations in Muncie that work directly with the food insecure and the homeless and the poor here in town. And I see that need. I see people who want to do things that they just don't have the resources to do. And I think Beneficence Family Scholars is a great resource for them, and that's why I decided to join.
Beneficence Family Scholars is an organization that helps families, not just in one aspect, but over a multi-generational aspect. So, we help families, first of all, get an education. That's kind of the scholars and Beneficence Family Scholars. And then we're also here as a support system to kind of provide the family aspect of what that is. And that's just kind of supporting families through their journey and, helping them get that degree, because that is, life-changing for them. And so kind of my connection with that is my mother is an educator. She has been ever since I was born. And so kind of, I've always learning has always been instilled in kind of my upbringing. And so, education was always a topmost value for us. And so that was something that kind of drove me to Beneficence Family Scholars and wanting to join and be a part of it, was to help foster that feeling and, kind of that value of education in others as well.
I've been so lucky. My parents have always emphasized education. They've always instilled a love of reading in me, and education has always been a priority, and I feel so lucky to go to Ball State and have the opportunities that I have. And I think that everybody who wants to be able to pursue education beyond high school should be able to do that. So I was immediately drawn to the project because of that. and also because the Muncie community is a lot like the area that I'm from, and so giving back to Muncie kind of feels like giving back to my own community, and also just because Muncie is the place that I get to call home for 4 years, it's good to be able to kind of leave a mark on that community when I leave.
I specifically chose to be involved in this organization because of some family history. So my parents are both incredible people and I look up to them so very much. They both actually supported themselves while going to college. So they both had full-time jobs while going to school because they weren't getting any help from their families, and they were able to get degrees and do amazing things and have provided me with an incredible life. So I think I chose to be involved in this organization because I wanted to help other people achieve that for themselves as well.
So all the work that we've done for the 2019 spring semester has really been to lay a very solid foundation for our organization. Leaving this semester, we have our incorporation done, we've submitted our 501c3 application, we are finalizing space arrangements to make sure that our offices are in a safe area that we can have all of the programs we want to and need to host happen. We're looking at partnerships throughout the community and really getting those finalized, and really being poised to launch our pre-residential program.
I hopefully see us integrating into the community more. The great thing about Muncie is that there's already so many nonprofits that are doing a lot of the work that we want to do, and we don't want to do this thing alone. It's huge in scope, it's a lot to work with, and so we want to partner with those existing nonprofits and make sure that we're taking advantage of the great resources that are already available in Muncie.
So I think the future of this organization is incredibly bright. A lot of the community is just now hearing about us because it is such a new organization and we're just now getting our feet off the ground, but yet we've done so many things already within this semester, and I think that our organization is only going to grow from here.
We're just hoping that it will continue to grow and continue to aspire to Family Scholars House at a steady pace, and but in a very sustainable way. We always want it to be a sustainable program, so it's not just we've come here, we spend a semester on it, and then we're gone. We want it to continue to grow beyond us.
I truly believe that this organization will be able to change the dynamic of Muncie, Indiana and the Delaware County area as a whole, because we are providing such holistic and comprehensive support for so many single-parent families. I think that these first few years when we launch our pre-residential program and then eventually a residential program will definitely be trial and error years, but we have a lot of growth that we are capable of, and we have a lot of incredible people that are backing our organization already from the start when we haven't even done too much even. So that is a really exciting thing that we have to look forward to.
Some of the most rewarding experiences I've had during this semester are just when I'm talking to my family or someone in the community, and you start to tell them about what we're all about and how we want to help single parent families. And there's been a few times where someone has said, I'm a single parent myself, like this is amazing, this will help so many people. And just to see their eyes like light up bright and see that, okay, we're doing something that people will like and will enjoy, and that people support, is just a really exciting thing, and it makes you think like, okay, I'm not doing this for nothing. This is gonna help people and people like what we're doing.
I don't think that anyone will ever fully understand how much work and talent and dedication all of the students in the VBC have shown. Everyone in this group has done an absolutely incredible job of diving into something that none of us really know how to do, because none of us have ever started a nonprofit before. None of us have had this level of professional experience. And so the fact that all of these students, and even Jason, who is far beyond his comfort zone, moving out of strict academia into the nonprofit sector, were willing to sort of jump on this train and then really dedicate an entire semester of their lives to putting forth really quality work and really genuine work.